Welcome to your practice, and today we'll be focusing on spine lengthening and strengthening. It's really important to always strengthen when we stretch something because it allows the body to then come into alignment. If we focus purely on stretching, the body can become hyperflexible, and that's where incidents can happen and injury can occur. So as we're moving through this practice, I really encourage you to go inward and feel into the alignment of the spine. And I'll give you little tips and tricks on how to do that best. So to start with, we're going to move into a few postures. I will go into the posture and hold it for a breath. And when I'm facing down, I'll come out and share more about what alignments to have. So try and hold the posture for at least 5 breaths. And as you start to learn the different series, then you can switch the video off and even pause it to allow you to really dive into that breath and really change the posture of the body. And with doing that, then you start to really realign the body into that healthy, crystalline structure that you are. So finding a seat, tucking your feet together, your knees nice and wide, starting to lengthen down, bringing the chest to the floor, drawing the shoulder blades together to lengthen through the back, bringing the forehead down into the mat, and then allowing the arms to extend in front of you. The arms can be really wide, and pressing the forehead firmly into the mat. Begin to roll the forehead from side to side. As you roll the forehead from side to side, you may notice that the neck and shoulders releases. Allow these slow movements to give you time to connect with your breath. And with the breath, really inhaling into the belly, pushing the belly between the thighs. And as you exhale, really drawing the belly button to the spine, massaging the organs. As you stay here, noticing how the body is slowly shifting as you inhale and expand the body. And as you exhale, move into the space that the inhale creates. Gently walking the hands back towards you. Come into an all fours position. So here, spread the fingers as wide as you possibly can, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the knees under the hips. Then we're going to undulate through the spine, so move through the spine, so rolling, dropping the belly, lifting up through the head and the tailbone, pressing the sternum through the arms. And then as you exhale, pulling the belly to the spine, dropping the head, pulling the tailbone and head towards the belly button. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, arcing the head, opening the throat. And as you exhale, pulling that tailbone underneath the crown of the head, almost creating that Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. Inhale, arching into the back, really getting into that very open spine. And then exhale, rolling back through. If you like, you can start to move a little more freely, so bending into the elbows, the shoulders, moving into the pelvis, rotating the tailbone underneath, and creating a little bit of freedom of movement as you groove. You may find that there might be places that are a little tighter, and with your intentional breath, direct the breath into the body. Allowing yourself to move here for a few more breaths. Nice. Coming into stillness. Walking the hands as far forward as you can, keeping the knees under the hips, either pressing the chin or the forehead into the floor. If the shoulders are a little tight, you can open the arms wider than the hips, and then just rest there for a few breaths. As you inhale, you can puff up between the shoulder blades, and then as you exhale, pressing the chest further to the floor. Feeling that little gentle shift with each round of breath. Pulling in and pressing down. Your next inhale, come back into all fours. And bringing yourself over onto your back. Bring your feet underneath the knees. And so the alignment there is that you can touch the heels with your arms or your fingers. And here we're really going to focus on lengthening the spine. So lengthen the back of the neck by tucking the chin into the throat. And first we're going to just roll the head from side to side here, releasing any tension of the first and second vertebrae. Remember that if you're short for time, just doing one or two of these exercises as often as you can really allows you to shift and change the body slowly and naturally, which offers a more graceful change in the body. Coming into neutral now, resting the head, pressing firmly into the back of the head, press firmly into the feet, and then rolling through the pelvis, so pulling the pelvis up towards the rib cage, lifting the pelvis, the bottom off the mat. And then bone by bone, slowly taking your time, squeezing the buttocks, flattening the back into the floor as you slowly lift and roll through the hips. Imagine that each of the vertebrae are like teeth of a zipper, slowly, tooth by tooth, moving away from the floor. Once you reach the extent that you can lift the hips, hold it there, squeezing the buttock, press down into the toes and lift high onto the heels, and then lower down. Move with your breath and allow yourself to press into each of the 5 or technically 10 toes, keeping the ankles in a line with the big toe. This is important not to hyperflex the ligaments in the ankles, which can tend to lead to rolling out the ankles when we're in that rushing or unaware place in our minds. Take 2 more heel raises and lower, keeping those hips up high, really strengthening and lengthening the back here. And then slowly, bone by bone, bringing the bottom down last, rolling back through. Taking another roll through the spine, hips towards the rib cage, squeezing the buttocks, bone by bone, pressing the backs of the shoulders, the head, the chin to the throat. As you're moving here, move through 3 more. And really allow yourself to feel each of the bones, the organs pressing into the back half of the body, the ribs, the shoulder blades, and the elongating of the spine. If you have got that slight neck sticking out or causing pain in the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, then it's good to hold at the top. Remember, you can always pause the video and take your time breathing into each of these postures. Remembering that postures are attitudes and allowing us to find that inner powerhouse that is our body when the spirit feels free inside. Taking your time, feeling how the feet pressing into the earth, the back of the head is elongating your spine on the last round. Beautiful. Bringing your knees into your chest, press the whole spine into the floor, the rib cage, and keeping that firmly pressing into the floor, gently rotate the knees around in a circle as if you're mixing the pot of the pelvis. Keep the belly engaged, which will naturally happen when you press the back and ribs into the floor, making sure that that heart-shaped bone of the sacrum is anchoring into the earth. You can change directions here, playing with the strength of the belly and feeling that massage of the intestines, helping you process thoughts, poor ideas, and allowing yourself to feel the wealth of nourishment from this conscious breath and movement. Nice. Bringing yourself up into a seated, so pressing into the hands, into the shins, shins into the hands, making that egg shape. You can really feel how the spine gets to rock here, and the more you press the shins into the arms and pull the hands into the shins, the more fluid this rock. Never underestimate the joy of this movement. It helps the parasympathetic, that nourishing and calming nervous system, come into gear. 2 more here. Beautiful. Rolling over onto our bellies. Bring your forearms down underneath the shoulders. And simply inhale, lift, open the throat. This may be a little tight, so you may need to just comb the neck a little and take your time coming into this. Pressing firmly into the forearms, the elbows and the hands. Ensure that there's more space in the neck and head as you inhale. And then as you exhale, pressing the chin into the throat, really looking down all the way to the belly button. And as you do, you might even feel how the belly and the hips rise off the floor. And then inhale, open, exhale down. Really feel that breath, and you may feel the abdominals working as you pull it in. And really squeeze the armpits, removing the stress from the neck and bringing it more back into the lats, so the sides of the waist, the sides of the torso, near the shoulder blades. Now I invite you also to go and research looking at the different muscles so you can learn what you're moving as you do these exercises. Taking 2 more here, really squeezing in the armpits, pulling those shoulder blades down the back as you move. And this is really opening the throat chakra as well, allowing you to really speak your truth and the power that is your soul. Coming down now onto the belly, bringing the arms behind you. And then as you inhale, slide the palms of the hands on the floor as you lift up, pressing the tops of the feet in the floor, and exhale, lower down. Keep the chin tucked in, the spine nice and long. So looking down at the floor as you inhale, squeeze the back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Taking your time, feeling how you can tuck the chin and elongate through the crown of the head. Imagine that spine extending almost like a narwhal right in front of you. Beautiful. The next time you come up, inhale, hold it there. Bring the arms long in front of you. And then as you exhale, pull the elbows back behind you. Inhale, bring the arms in front. Exhale, pull the elbows back. 3 more like this. Inhaling, drawing. Inhaling, pulling back. Really imagine that the weight of the arms is strengthening the spine, the side waist. Nice. Bringing the hands back behind you. Bring your knees together, stay into a closed knee child's pose. Resting the forehead down on the mat. You can wiggle the bottom from side to side, releasing the lower back. Or also with loose fists, gently just patting the back, the bottom. So loose hands, and it will sound funny as we come up the back, pressing the forehead into the mat. And then coming into stillness with the hands under the forehead, resting there. Nice, gently releasing. Going back into a seat. You can press the hand, the left hand or right hand into the side of the head. Hand presses into the head into the hand. Make sure that the ear, the shoulder, the elbow are all in the same line. So if you need a mirror, I invite you to always bring one in, not to judge yourself, but to find that alignment. Sometimes we can forget how out of posture we are. And then when we see in the mirror, we go, oh, wow, this. And then we can find that place within ourselves. Gently release. And to the other side. Really press the head into the hand into head. And if you're feeling like, oh, that's a bit tight on the neck, then readjust. Pull the rib cage into the pelvis. Ear, shoulder, elbow, all in the same line. If you're coming forward, it's not going to feel nice. You want to feel opening like a triangle. Then interlacing the hands behind the head, press the hands into the head into hands, and really draw the elbows back. You can even play with looking back a little and even turning a little side to side, opening up the back and the shoulders, especially if you've been holding the reins for too long and the weight of the world on your shoulders. Nice. Releasing the hands, pressing the heels of the hands into the eyebrows. Really tuck the chin in and feel the crown of the head lengthening up. Hold it there. And then release and keep imagining the crown of the head lengthening up. For a little extension on the sides, you can bring the left hand down, right hand down, and the other arm comes up and over, taking a nice big side bend. Keep the chin tucked in, the ear dropping towards the shoulder. Draw the rib cage in, really feel the elbow, the ear, the shoulder, the hand, all in the same line. Inhale back to center, and then exhale over to the other side. Play with that alignment as well. So you even take an over arc or releasing your solar plexus energy, that self-confidence, and then come into that solid, grounded place within yourself. Coming back through to center, rolling the shoulders a couple of times. And then finding a wall, bringing yourself against the wall. Go on that side. Really press your sitting bones into the floor. Tuck the chin so the back of the head is into the floor, and sit here. You can bring the hands into palms, into the heart center, pressing the knees back while the triceps push the knees back, and then the knees push into the triceps. Sitting here for a few minutes. Really feel the arches of your feet and how you need to make adjustment here into the back. So you really want to push the spine all into the wall. And as you press your spine into the wall, you might feel how the body starts to align. This can make you feel a little uncomfortable. It can bring up all kinds of thoughts. Just let them float past you like a little stick in the river. And remember that you're working on changing. And that change is something inevitable and something very healthy for you. Breathing into that alignment, into that strength, into that power. Feel the sitting bones drop as you sit here for another few more breaths. Remember, you can always pause the video and take your time here. And if you really want to get a lot out of this, sitting here for 6 to 10 minutes can be a really powerful shift and change in the body. Working your way up to that, of course, and only working within the range of change in intervals. Beautiful, gently releasing that. And then coming into the last exercise for today, which will be the toe stretching. So sit onto the toes, and you might not think that the feet have anything to do with the neck, but I guarantee you they do. So spreading the toes nice and wide. You can keep the knees down, and as you begin to advance, you can slowly bring the knees off the floor, and slowly then also bring the bottom off the heel, so you're balancing there. Lifting up through the crown, belly to spine, holding yourself here. Feeling the shoulder blades drop. And remember, if you're bringing the knees on the floor, that's equally as good because you're stretching into the toes. If you've been wearing shoes a lot, especially ones that close off the toes, then this will feel a lot. The idea is you can put a timer on and you switch from 1 minute to the other. So the other position now is untuck the toes, press the feet into the floor, drawing the heels in towards each other. Once again, this is keeping that alignment of the ankles to allow the ankles to stay strong, the arches of the feet to build, and also to release any calcification that can happen at the tops of the feet, which over time causes the old shuffle foot of the old people when they stop exercising. We don't want shuffle foot. So the exercise I was saying, you do 1 minute one way, 1 minute the other way. So once you start to learn this exercise, just pause the video and put your own timer on. So we're going to flip over now into the other side. And as you start to move through these toe stretching positions, over time, over a few days, if you're doing it every day, you'll actually notice how the brain changes. So the reason why is there's nerve endings that connect right to the brain, obviously. And when you do that, then you're actually changing and creating more sensitivity, more pathways for dealing with stress, tension, whatever life presents you. Beautiful. Switch the feet over. And the next part of the advancement of this posture is pressing the knuckles into the feet and starting to lift the knees back, opening the chest and looking back. It's a really nice one to feel into, drawing those elbows back behind you. So open the chest, roll the shoulders back. Really feel that heart lifting up towards the sun. Flicking the toes over again. And you can play each time, whether you want to lift the knees, even resting the fingertips either side of you, holding yourself there, but making sure that the toes are directly under the heels. That's the aim, obviously, and it might take time, but just go with that. Remember that all of these movements and exercises are practice, and they take time to shift and change the body. So be patient with yourself because you're worth the effort. Flick the toes over one more time. And you can play with leaning back into it. And then as you progress, you might even begin to lift the bottom off the heels, which becomes quite an advanced place, but it gives you something to play with. And remember that playing with all of these rather than being too serious is how we actually learn and change much quicker. Beautiful. Gently release that. And then just bringing your knees into your chest. Lift and open the chest here. So draw the shoulder blades back, tuck the chin and feel the crown lengthen, and then just hover a little bit on the sitting bones here. Nice. And then coming down into your seated position where you can find a little bit of space to feel into your breath, inhaling into the belly, expanding and opening, and exhale, belly button draws to the spine, shoulders relax, crown lengthens. Inhaling, relaxing the pelvic floor, really pushing down the pelvis into the earth. And then exhale, drawing the pelvic floor in, belly button into the back of the ribs. Inhaling. And exhaling. You can sit here for as long as you like and allow yourself to move into this practice as many times as you can. Namaste.